Yo, peace was good. Welcome to the hip hop album review. This is part 146. The album that I'll be reviewing tonight is Masta Incorporated's second and final album that they released together, titled Sittin on Chrome, released in 1995. By now you guys should know who Masta is. You guys should know who Masta Incorporated is. For those who don't know, Masta Incorporated is Masta's old group from the early to mid 90s, which consists of Masta himself, Lachey, Paula Perry, Lord Digger, Ice, Unique, and Rock Diesel. Alright? And they came out with the album Slaughterhouse, which I did a review, I think like earlier this year or something like that. I think I did it this year, I just don't remember when. Just go on my channel, type in Masta Ace, and you know, everybody loved, that album and stuff like that, but that was like more of a regional album, if that makes sense. Because his whole point of making that album was because he was so fed up with gangster rap at the time, because gangster rap was considered like commercial rap, like how you got all this fucking EDM bullshit that's out now and this lovey-dovey shit that Drake and all these Big Sean motherfuckers and all these other cats make and shit like that. So imagine gangster rap today is how it was back then, you know what I mean? So he was getting tired of that shit, and so his album was pretty much like a mockery of that. And then it is what it is. And so it's funny because the song Born to Roll was actually the remix of Jeep Ass Nigga. It's a Jeep Ass Nigga remix, but it was titled Born to Roll. And it's crazy because the record label that he was under at the time, Delicious Vinyl, because that was a West Coast record label, and that song pretty much caught some burn. It got some burn and stuff like that, particularly in the West Coast, and because they had like a really West Coast feel, West Coast sound, and it was so popular, it gained like it garnered attention in the South, the Midwest, and the West Coast itself, and which is something new for Masta Ace, because Masta Ace was like more regional. It was like more in the tri-state area, like the Northeast, and because of that, because of the success of Born to Roll, Delicious Vinyl Records actually wanted Masta Ace to make a whole album like that. So Masta Ace was just kind of like, he wasn't with it at first, but then the powers to be, you know how it is, man. Like, you kind of have to compromise it. Kind of have to, I hate to say it, but like, adapt in a sense, you know what I mean? And so that's what he did. So he did an album, what they wanted, like a whole bunch of Born to Rolls, like that type of flavor, but he added some stuff of his style too. So you get a little bit of the new flavor and a little bit of Slaughterhouse. And because of that, this is how this album was made. All right, Sittin on Chrome. I guess this is his second album. Dope album cover art. There's a couple singles off the album. There's 4 singles: Born to Roll, the INC Ride, Sittin on Chrome, and Turn It Up. Those are the singles of the album. There's 4 singles. All right. You know how I get down and shit what the CD looks like. Masta Ace Incorporated, Sittin on Chrome. This is a 2001 edition. I got this shit back in '01, so you gotta excuse the crack. That's how long I had it. Alright, open it up. No, I'm sorry, I bought this back in 2003, excuse me, not '01, but the album came out, the reissue came out in 2001. So, open it up, that's what the CD looks like, you know what I mean? Open it up. You have the members of Masta Ace Incorporated, Ice, Unique, and Rock Diesel by that time had left the group back in 1994. From what I understand, they ended up getting like they ended up becoming like teachers in high school or some shit like that. Like they worked for something that had to do with the Board of Ed. So as you can see, Lachey right here, Lord Digger, Paula Perry, and Masta Ace himself. I'm pretty sure you guys seen this picture before. Well, that's where it came from. Alright. Producers on the album. The producers on the album are the Blues Brothers, which consists of Norman and Lord Digger. Because Lord Digger makes beats. Louis Fat Cat, Ace One, DJ Unique, and that's pretty much it. Those are the producers of the album. All right. Features. The only features as far as like outside of Master Ace Incorporated is Cellar Dwellers. Cellar Dwellers. You guys should know Cellar Dwellers. All right. You guys know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks. All right. Track one is the intro. It's pretty dope. It's just you just hear like a dark instrumental being played, and you hear Master Ace talking, and then you have like some West Coast catches talking in the background and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Pretty dope. Track two, INC, INC Ride, which was a single off the album. I believe it's the second single off the album. There's a video for that, posted down in the description box. He just talks about his love for cars, you know, over a G-Funk beat, G-Funk style beat, and that's pretty much what you got with that joint right there. Track three, Eastbound, which features Lord Digger on the mic. It's another car, just a love for cars, like that type of thing. Like, you know, just talk about, you know, how cats in Brooklyn and Eastbound, like just, you know, just how they blast their systems in the car and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Track four, What's Going On. It starts off as a skit where, like, you know, have Master Ace calling one of his homegirls, and one of his homegirls is like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah blah blah. Yo, and then Master Ace is like, "Yo, what's going on for tonight?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. You know, trying to go out and stuff like that." So Master Ace is kind of like, "Well, my cousin from LA came through, and just wanted to know if you had a friend for him to, you know, so they could hook up and whatever." And, you know, she's like, "Yeah, I think I do have a friend," and, you know, things like that. So what I got from that joint right there is pretty much, you know, it's a song just about just like you starting off, like, you know how it is, man. Like, you get with your boys, you have nothing else to do, you just try to find shit to do on a Friday night, and that's pretty much what the whole song is about. You know, everybody can relate to that. I can relate to that. I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to that. So, that song, I like the beat for it. It has like that really nightlife, that, you know, going out, you know, nightlife vibe to it, if that makes sense, but not in a corny way, in a really cool way, if that makes sense. Track five, the B side, pretty cool. Really one of my favorite songs off the album. It's pretty much sort of it's just another car track, but it's kind of representing, like, you know, how Cash is, you know, in Brooklyn, just like, you know, just representing Brooklyn to the fullest. You know what I mean? And how cats in Brooklyn embrace the car culture. And what I like about it is that it uses the same sample as Nothing But a G Thing, but the way they flipped it is you know, is the way they flipped it was like, you know, they added like a sinister bass line, like a dark bass line, and I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool right there. Track six, Sittin on Chrome. It's just a braggadocio track. The beat has like a, you know, West Coast G-Funk feel to it. There is a video for that. I'll post that down in the description box. Pretty cool. Track seven, People in My Hood. You know, it's just pretty much talking about the hood. You know, it's about how, you know, people in the hood, you know, how they do what they gotta do to survive, whether it's robbing niggas, killing niggas, selling drugs, girls selling their bodies and things like that, which is unfortunate, but, you know, that's pretty much what he talks about. That's what the song entitles, People in the Hood. People in My Hood, excuse me. Track eight, Turn It Up. It's a Lashea solo track right there. You know, it kind of has like an R&B feel to it, you know what I mean? By the way, Lashea, she has an album out that came out back in 96, 97 called Rhythms and Beats. And so that song, Turn It Up, is actually, you know, you kind of get an idea of what her album is about. You know, pretty much like the vibe of that album is pretty cool right there. It's a soul track. It's just sort of about, you know, just like embracing people to, if you have a nice system in your car, turn up the volume, you just embrace your system. You know what I mean? Just have your bass booming and stuff like that. Just have a good time. You know what I mean? Just everybody could relate to that. If you have a nice car with a nice system, just turn that shit up. Just embrace that shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I got from that joint right there. Track 9, You Can't Find Me, featuring Lord Digger. That's another braggadocio track, pretty cool right there. Track 10, Ain't No Game, is a posse cut which features Paula Perry, Lachey, Lord Digger, and Masta Ace himself. They all go in that right there. Track 11, Freestyle. This is a braggadocio track. It's a nice jazzy track. It's like one of my favorite joints on the album. It's actually a Masta Ace solo track. Masta Ace just goes in, top of the head. You know what I mean? It's a freestyle, but it's a song at the same time. But I like how he did that right there. That was pretty cool. Track 12, Terror. This is Masta Ace, representing Brownsville to the fullest. Just him and Lord Diggers is representing Brooklyn to the fullest. But what's crazy about it is that even though the song is about the dangers of Brooklyn, but the beat itself has like a summer vibe to it. You know what I mean? It has like that nice, summertime in the 70s and early 80s type of vibe to it. You know what I mean? Just like that sunset, like in New York back in the day, and it just has that vibe to it. If that makes sense. When you hear that beat, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's a pretty cool track. That could have been a single, but just because of the, I guess the subject matter wasn't like wasn't like suitable for a single, I should say. That was track 12. Track 13, The Answer, dope smooth track. Really like that song. That's like one of my favorite joints on it as well. I like the beat for that shit. I like the hook where it says music is the answer, all that shit, and then Lachey's on the hook and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. That's a dope track right there. Number 14, For the Mind, that's featuring Cellar Doors and Lord Digger. Has a nice dark piano beat to it, and I like the horns that's added to it. That was pretty cool. They just go in on that track. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that definitely sounded like something that Masta Ace would have wanted on his album. I'm pretty sure, like, if he had it his way, like, the majority of the album would have sounded like songs like For the Mind, The Answer, and stuff like that. For the Mind. Track 15, Born to Roll, which was the first single of the album. It was released actually in 1994, and it's actually Masta Ace's biggest single, and there's a video for it. And like I said, because of that song, it actually gave Masta Ace recognition nationwide, meaning like the West Coast, the Midwest, and the South, just because of that song. Because you gotta remember at that time, especially in the South, like certain parts of the Midwest and certain parts of the South, there was artists that was making like G-funk music, but even though they weren't from the West Coast, but they were from the region. Prime example, like like Master P, like for example, like when he first started out, like he wasn't making the music that we all know him from. He was making like more West Coast sounding beats, West Coast like G-funk type of music. Even like cats like Gangsta Pat out of Memphis, Tennessee, was making like G-funk type of stuff. Oh, even Bone Thugs and Harmony, the same thing. They were making excuse my nose is itching. Sorry about that. Yeah, even Bone Thugs and Harmony, they making like G-funk type of stuff. So that's kind of like an example. So because of Born to Roll, the type of song it was, it, like I said, it caught fire, nation, in the rest of the world. I mean, not in the rest of the world, but the rest of the country. And god damn, my nose is itching. Sorry about that, guys. Because of this the type of beat it was, and then just the shit he was talking about, the cars and things like that. It caught the attention of both the West Coast, the Midwest, and the South. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, that's his biggest single to date. And the last track, Fat Cat Ride, which is pretty much um INC ride but with a different beat. And it's funny because I was watching an interview with Master Ace a while back where he actually talks about the making of this album, and he actually talks about the song Fat Cat Ride was actually the single, the original single, is the original version of INC Ride. But what had happened was like um the record label Delicious Vinyl that he was with said that Fat Cat Ride was cool, but it had like a really underground sound. It sounded too underground. It sounded too East Coast. Is what I guess they were trying to say. You know what I mean? It wouldn't like capture. It wouldn't capture. Um, you know, audience like it was just capture a certain type of audience, and meaning like the East Coast. Like it wouldn't garner people outside of the East Coast. So I guess it was kind of smart of them to do that, but I kind of prefer the Fat Cat Ride. It's kind of fit the subject matter better, in my opinion. But yeah, shout out to Louis Vega, and like I said, the producers on the album are Blues Brothers, Ace One, Unique, and Louis Fat Cat. Those are the producers on the album, and man, and it's crazy too because Master Ace, he actually did a lot of production on the album, and he went by the name of Ace One. And it's crazy because he said in an interview that the reason why he chose Ace One is because he didn't want people to know that he made beats. And Ace One was actually his graffiti name because he used to do graffiti back in the day. So he used that name so it could be like a different character. It's like, oh, who's Ace One? Like, who's Ace One? It's kind of smart in a way, but it is what it is. I can see why, but excuse me, sorry about that. I thought that was pretty clever of him to do that. And Lord Digger is especially, he's pretty dope on the production level too. It's crazy because, like I said before in the interview, he said that he considered this album like his most compromised album because, like I said, he had to make pretty much a whole bunch of like, not radio friendly, but like West Coast type of songs, like talk about cars and things like that had a G-funk feel to it. And so he kind of compromised with that, but he kind of added his own flavor, his own West Coast flavor to it, and then that's pretty much what you got with that. And yeah, man, this is actually considered his best-selling album to date. And it's funny too because when this album came out, it caused a lot of controversy because you gotta remember this is 1995. This is at the time where the East Coast and West Coast beef was brewing really hard, and you had to either choose a side. You was either with the East Coast or the West Coast. But Master Ace wasn't even seeing all that. He wasn't even thinking about it like that. He's just all about like just have a good time. Let's all get along and just let both coasts join forces, man. Like we're all black. We all make good music. Let's all have a good time, and that's why you saw it. But some cats didn't see it that way because I heard people back home, like back in the day, was like, yo, like what the fuck you doing? Like you're a sellout. You know what I mean? Like you're a Benedict Arnold. Like how you gonna make West Coast songs and you're a New York nigga? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of reminiscent of. It's funny because he would be the first East Coast MC to do that when you think about it. You know what I mean? Because cause you guys see how all these New York cats now is making trap music. Well, imagine Master Ace in '95 doing that. So what he was doing in '95, cats is doing now, but he was kind of like the first one to do it, and especially for the person, especially for at that time too, like it was really dangerous. Like you had to know your place at that time, which was kind of crazy, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, after this album, the group broke up. They went their separate ways. From what I understand, like Lord Digger, Paula Perry, they don't get along with Master Ace. He's just saying like how he is as a person. Like he did did him dirty, money, business wise and things like that, which I don't know. I try not to get into that kind of stuff, but it's unfortunate because they made good music together. Paula Perry, from what I understand, she was supposed to come out with an album called I think it was called Live from Fort Knox, something like that, but that never came to fruition. I think she has the masters, or Master Ace has it, but you know, it's a lot of red tape going on with that. And then Lord Digger, I'm friends with him on Facebook, and then he just goes in on Master Ace all the time, calling him Master Ass, which is kind of crazy, but you know, it is what it is, man. But yeah, this is a dope album. Like I said, when it first came out, it didn't have the love that it does now. Back then, you got, like I said, it came out at the time of the East Coast West Coast beef. But overall, definitely an original sound, especially for Ace One or Master Ace. He's pretty dope on the beats and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Like I said, it's a different sound. It's like a West Coast album, but it's an East Coast album. It's a bi-coastal album. I consider it a bi-coastal album, but it has more of an East Coast flavor to it. You know, just because of the drums and stuff like that. But overall, highly recommended. You guys know how I get down. I'll post some goodies down in the description box, things like that. I'll post some songs that were left off the album that was recorded around that time, like I usually do on my album reviews that I try to do. But Masta is Sittin on Chrome. Master Ace Incorporated, Sittin on Chrome, released in 1995. If I'm not mistaken, they re-released this album, I think earlier this year. Get On Down, the folks that Get On Down, they did like I think like a double disc, whatever it comes excuse me. Then it comes with a double disc. It comes with the poster and all that kind of stuff, which is all good. But I'm good with this, you know what I mean? But overall, folks, hope you guys enjoyed that review. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace.